debate between Jianguo Zhongxue and the Tainan Yuzhong. The proposition for today's debate is that the Taiwan government should make prostitution a legal business.
For debate, rules for timing your speech are as follows. When there are 30 seconds left, you will hear a short ring. When time is up, you will hear a long ring. When it's 30 seconds into the extension, you will hear another long ring. And upon hearing that, you have to stop your speech. And rules for timing your crowd examination are, when there are 30 seconds left, you will hear a short ring. When time is up, you will hear a long ring. And upon hearing that, you have to stop your crowd examination.
Each team needs to prepare evidence cards for cross-examination. Any evidence cited during the debate should have a corresponding evidence card, which may be reviewed upon request by the cross-examiner and their teammates. The cards need to be returned at the end of the constructive speech following the cross-examination. For the audience, please turn off your cell phone or turn it into vibrate mode. When the debate is still in progress, please do not chat or use flash when taking pictures. Thank you. First, affirmative constructive speech, 5 minutes.
Greetings, honorable judges, guests, and distinguished debaters. We are here to debate whether Taiwan's government should make prostitution a legal business. We will first describe the current situation, then elaborate on why we should legalize prostitution. After that, we will talk about the affirmative policy. According to the Oxford Dictionary, prostitution is the practice or occupation of engaging in sexual activity with someone for payment. In Taiwan, the local government can establish red light districts where prostitution will be allowed. However, since there are no such areas installed, prostitution remains mainly illegal in Taiwan. After looking at the current situation, we, the affirmative, contend that prostitution should be legalized for 2 reasons. First, human rights. According to the Constitution in Taiwan, people have the right to work, which includes the right to choose their occupation. And since the problems related to prostitution can be resolved, there is no reason to prohibit prostitution. Therefore, it violates the Constitution for prostitution to be illegal. Second, economic benefits. Prostitution is a large industry that will exist regardless of legalizing or not. But by legalizing, the government can collect a substantial amount of tax as given by customers, the collective of sex workers and supporters. The revenue of prostitution market in Taiwan is evaluated to be over 60 billion NTD. We, the affirmative, assert that the government cannot just let all that tax money go, but it is not only a missed opportunities to add tax income, but also an injustice to those who give their due by paying their tax. Aside from the tax revenue, legalizing prostitution can also do good by creating job opportunities as well. Now, we will explain our policy and how it deals with the problems. Prostitution will be legalized in brothels that first register with the government. If the brothel owner doesn't register with the government, they would be prosecuted. The role of the brothels is to provide rooms for the transaction to take place. Both the customers and the prostitutes will pay the brothels for using the rooms. Moreover, the brothels have no authority over when they should work and which clients to take and which not to. In short, brothels owners are not the employers, but they simply provide the platform for these transactions to take place. Continuing, the prostitutes are required to have licenses to work. To apply, they must be Taiwanese citizens over 18 and be proven to be STD-free. These licenses serve as a way for the government to offer benefits like STD checks. Which brings us to the next point. To combat STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, prostitutes must go for free STD checks provided by the government every month. And if a prostitute is found to have STDs, they will take treatments according to the Communicable Disease Control Act, which has already been legislated, and means the fee will be covered by the original government budget. As for tax, the brothels will be required to pay a 25% tax, the same tax percentage that is also paid by bars and clubs. Along with costless estimation mentioned earlier, this creates a 15 billion NTD tax collection for the government. This money would go towards paying the cost of our policy, along with any other expenses. The affirmative policy guarantees the human rights of the prostitutes, creates economic benefits, and settles the problems related to prostitution. I now stand open for cross-examination.
Second negative cross-examination. First affirmative. 3 minutes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your speech. Do you think that when prostitution occurs, clients are using prostitutes' bodies to fulfill their own sexual desires?
Yes,
Okay. Do you
but
think?
it is not a bad case. It's just a service.
But you agree that they are using the prostitute's body to fulfill their own sexual desires?
Yes, every occupation, the clients use some sort of approaches to fulfill their desires.
But does any other occupation involve penetrating another's body to fulfill their desires?
I don't know what sort of body are you saying? It's like hands or sorry, I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Do you think that since the client is paying prostitutes, they're the ones who have higher power during the transaction?
Yeah.
Can you explain why?
What you're saying is that during transaction, the clients have higher power. What kind of higher power are you saying?
What I meant was, do you think that since clients are paying the prostitutes, they're the ones offering the money to prostitutes who need the money, then they're the ones who have higher power during the transaction?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Are you going to legalize, are there any other reasons for you to legalize prostitution other than working rights and STDs? What other harms are you trying to solve?
There's violence and STDs, and we can reduce human trafficking.
Okay, do you have statistics to prove STD rates will be lowered after legalization?
Yes,
Okay, while the teammate is getting the statistics, are you going to require prostitutes to register or get licenses?
Yes.
Are you going to require prostitutes to have employment contracts with the brothels they rent rooms from?
No, they just give money to the brothels for using the rooms.
Do you have any regulations on pimps, since we know that sex workers will often collaborate with pimps?
In our policy, pimps isn't any function.
Is it illegal, or do you have any other regulations? You don't have regulations on pimps?
According to the current law, there is some regulations on pimps.
Okay, so you're going to use the current laws regarding
Yes.
pimps. Okay, how did you estimate the tax revenue you mentioned?
Are you saying the brothel part or? Thank you.
Thank you.
1 minute preparation.
fellow debaters. As the first negative debater, I would like to first explain our stance that prostitution is immoral, then give a brief introduction to our counterplan, and finally refute the points that the affirmative has made. Prostitution is immoral because it is objectifying and an infringement upon women's rights. To elaborate, prostitutes' bodies are appropriated for the pleasure of the customer. In this sense, prostitutes are objectified when they are treated as simply a means to the customer's sexual goals. Furthermore, in an industry in which approximately 80% are women, gender equality cannot be reached when the majority of a single gender are the weaker party exploited by others who wish to satisfy their own sexual desires. According to a paper from the European Journal of Fundamental Rights, prostitution occurs when there are unbalanced power relations between men and women, and is not only perceived as reinforcing gender stereotypes, but also as an expression of the idea of men's unlimited access to women's bodies and sexuality in accordance with their economic power. Because of this stance, and because we believe that the affirmatives plan cannot solve the harms that they have established, we provide a counterplan to improve the situation. Firstly, we propose adopting a model that is similar to the Swedish model, punishing only the pimps or clients and not the prostitutes. Secondly, we will set up exit programs that will include career training from programs that already exist in the current society, making it easier for them to find work after leaving prostitution. Finally, we will provide medical care for those who have been confirmed with STDs. Next, I wish to review the affirmative's claims and the solvency of their plan. First, the affirmative mentioned that they hope to solve the problem of STDs by legalizing prostitution. However, Janice Raymond wrote in the 2003 Journal of Trauma Practice article that 73% of men will be willing to pay higher prices for sex without a condom. In a job where money is the main objective, this will lead to unsafe sex that cannot be regulated by legalizing prostitution. In a similar research on STDs in female sex workers in Taiwan, only 39% of sex workers say that they